Well, if more show up, I guess they'll miss out on the first part of it, but welcome and thank you all for showing up that come in today and see what we've got to talk about a little bit. Hope there's something that you learned today from us, enough to keep you awake. Um, I've got a small presentation on some of the new sales items, not everything, just a few things. And when we're done with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rustin, and he's going to discuss some of the new precision ag processes and equipment. So.
We heard from growers who want both broadacre and row crop capability in a higher horsepower, 4-track articulated tractor. One that can handle higher speed, wider working implements like planters, nutrient application bars, and grain carts. That's why we're introducing a narrow undercarriage option on 3 models. The current 9470RX and 9520RX. And adding a new model to the lineup, the 420 horsepower 9420RX. The narrow undercarriage is available in 80, 88, or 120-inch track spacing configurations with 18 or 24-inch belt widths, which is ideal for use in 22, 30, and 40-inch row spacing. The high flotation 4-track articulated design maintains traction while in a turn under load. It minimizes soil compaction and crop damage and delivers the stability needed to work through challenging field conditions. To further improve ride quality in row crop operations, an isolation system on the narrow undercarriage removes most of the vibrations an operator would feel while in transport. Together, these engineering efforts ensure greater operator comfort in the field and on the road, even over long days at higher speeds on rough terrain. So let's check out the versatility of a 9RX with a narrow, row crop friendly undercarriage.
There are many advantages of an articulated 4-track tractor. It maintains traction in a turn when working between row crops, around soft and wet spots, and in loose soil while pulling larger implements. On headland turns, the front and rear tracks follow the same path to help reduce crop damage, soil disturbance, and berming that can negatively impact yield. When compared to dual tires, compaction will be minimized, especially in pinch rows, thanks to the long footprint of just 2 track paths going down the row. A 9RX series tractor with its heavier base weight and configured with 120-inch tread spacing not only offers row crop capability, it is more stable in all field conditions.
Operators are also asking for greater comfort and an enhanced feel of the tractor's ride. To absorb vibration and shock loads before they reach the operator, this chassis oscillates 15 degrees, and 4 independent undercarriages oscillate up to 10 degrees. And that's in addition to a cab suspension that offers nearly 4 inches of travel thanks to 4 corner-mounted shocks that carry the weight of the cab. The combination of torsion bar links and lower parallel links absorb pitch and roll to provide a near vertical motion of the cab. With a more level cab floor, the seat suspension provides additional ride comfort to the operator. That all adds up to a smoother ride at faster speeds, whether in the field or on the road, and with less operator fatigue. But this isn't just about comfort. The operator doesn't feel the need to slow down as much for ditches, berms, or ridges, which could improve productivity. The narrow undercarriage for 18 and 24-inch wide belts features rubber isolators and oscillating mid-rollers to help minimize cab vibration, further improving ride quality. During transport, the isolation and oscillation abilities of the undercarriage also allow it to adapt to the crown of the road, better dispersing load and heat more evenly across the width of the belt. The narrow undercarriage on the 9RX is designed with belt-matched mid-rollers to better dissipate heat buildup, extending wear life. Unlike a key competitor, each belt size we offer has specifically matched full-width mid-rollers to reduce pressure, heat, and wear. And all 9RX series tractors, including narrow configurations, are capable of a 26-mile-per-hour transport speed. 9RX series tractors equipped with 18-inch tracks will have a maximum speed set at the factory of 19 miles per hour. This setting may be adjusted up to 26 miles per hour after reviewing the transport speed guidelines listed in the operator's manual. Reduced speed recommendations are also listed based on axle load and the attached implement. And the industry's largest capacity, 400-gallon diesel fuel tank, adds to your daily infield productivity. Lower input costs also come from ultra-efficient diesel exhaust fluid consumption. The proven Command View 3 cab with Gen 4 Command Center on all 9 family tractors serves as a highly connected field office. Operators can monitor and control machine performance to improve job quality. Plus, you can choose to add the Gen 4 Extended Monitor as a factory option to use a second touchscreen in the cab of any 9R, 9RT, or 9RX series tractor. Each 9RX series tractor comes with the user-friendly data sharing capabilities of our integrated solutions with John Deere connected support and precision ag technology.
John Deere 9RX series tractors are built to last. Both narrow and wide undercarriages are engineered for superior ride quality to deliver the performance and uptime growers need for profitability. Now you can get more horsepower, flotation, traction, and stability than ever before in a row crop capable tractor.
Pretty cool. I think we need some of them out in this part of the country. Well, we've got 2 on order, and I think one of those is going to be a company demo machine. We don't have information yet about if we'll get it here, how close it'll be to us. Hopefully we'll get it down in this part of the country, so at least we can have a field day and get as many people there as we can. That's kind of the plan. We've got 2 of them on order anyway to have one of them at least for a demo. Before I go farther, most of you know everybody from our dealership that's here today, but introduce Donna Baker and R.W. Lucas. We got Ron Miller, our service manager, Rustin Ardrey, and Ryan Asbridge, Precision Ag people. So if you got some questions afterwards, find somebody and ask them. I don't know if we'll have the answer, but we know where to find it most of the time. Okay. This next little couple of videos I've got are about some of the new technology coming out. And I know sometimes we get aggravated with what we have to do on the computer and punching buttons. And so I'm kind of wondering if any of you guys ever experience this. Come on, move. I'm surely not, right? This first short video I've got is about AutoTrack active turn and some other information. It's not very long.
Hello, I'm Patrick Doherty, Product Manager in the John Deere Precision Ag Group. Many of you have been asking for a solution that allows you to share maps and guidance lines with multiple machines that use Gen 4 displays. Now, with in-field data sharing, you'll be able to review the performance of your equipment on up to 6 machines working in the same field, even in low light, dusty, or foggy conditions. It's fully compatible with the Gen 4 4600 Command Center or the 4640 Universal Display. It enables the sharing of coverage, as applied, and yield maps, as well as guidance lines between Gen 4 displays. In-field data sharing is easy to set up and make adjustment. When two or more machines have the same work setup, they're automatically joined together to the same work group. Individual coverage maps are created for each product from every machine in the work group. You can see coverage and as-applied maps for any machine by toggling between layers. It also includes an auto-join feature that keeps your machines on the right track by sharing guidance lines. With in-field data sharing, you'll have real-time access to maps and guidance lines from multiple machines working in the same field from pre-season tillage through harvest.
That's some of the new technology coming out on the Gen 4 systems that we have. Rustin and Ryan will probably talk about some of that a little bit later, how that goes together with the Gen 4 operations.
It's also available too at the 2630 GS3 display.
North American Consumer Products Division and has teamed up with the Australian and New Zealand Consumer Products Division to come up with a new design riding self-propelled lawnmower. And I'm pleased today to introduce that for the first time at any John Deere dealership. And here it is. That's what Australia and New Zealand turned in. That was their project. Little information on some of our compact utility tractors. This talks a little bit about the new 3E series.
Hi, I'm Michelle Smith, Product Marketing Manager on the 3E Series tractors. Today, we're introducing updated models that we know you are going to be very excited about.
Anyone with property to take care of will appreciate the built-in value. They have the capacity for a variety of jobs and the convenience to make them easy to use, all at a very manageable cost.
Throughout the restyling process, we wanted to maintain the 3E's capability for tight turning and maneuverability.
Even with a loader, they are easy to get in and out of tight spaces or move around your property.
The updated 3E also features the new 300E loader, which can be factory installed. The new curved boom improves visibility, making the tractor easier to maneuver.
All loader functions are easy to control with one joystick. Maintenance is easy too with end-of-pin grease fittings.
Adding an optional field-installed parking stand makes it a breeze to attach and remove. We've made several improvements to the operator station that make this tractor easier to use. One of the first things you'll notice from the driver's seat are the controls on the right-hand fender console. They're clearly labeled and right at your fingertips.
The independent rear PTO is within easy reach. If you need electrical power or a charging connection, there's an integrated 12-volt outlet. Even less experienced operators can feel comfortable and confident. The electro-hydraulic design allows for smooth, on-the-go engagement, no need to clutch or stop the tractor. It gives you the power to run implements as wide as a 60-inch rotary cutter or tiller. And for longer life, it uses a wet clutch instead of a standard dry clutch of other manufacturers. Wet disc brakes also prolong the working life of the 3E.
And if you work over rough ground, you can opt for larger R4 tires and gain about an inch more ground clearance for less chance of bottoming out. Rear-mounted implements are easy to align and attach with optional telescoping draft links.
The optional iMatch Quick Hitch makes hooking up even easier, including Category 1 implements. Access to the engine compartment is also easy. When needed, just give the quarter-turn fasteners a twist to remove the side panels. It takes less than a minute, and all without tools. We've also kept many of the reliable features that 3E tractors are known for, like the steering linkages that are located behind the axle away from debris, and the hood and styling components that are made out of tough composite, no metal to dent or rust.
Thank you for taking the time to learn more about our updated 3E Series tractors. They are a winning combination of capability, simplicity, and affordability.
I think everybody ought to have one of those on their farm, pretty handy. And if it takes that, we maybe could get her out here to sell it to you. some other people we have here today. We have Leslie and Eloy from American Irrigation. That's their display over here. If you have any questions for them, don't be afraid to ask when we're complete. Here's some things that I want to remind people of. We have, if you go to our web page, up here in this corner right there is the customer portal. If you're not signed up for that, I would urge you to go in and sign up for it and take a look at it. You can pull all your invoices off, whether they go to Farm Plan or whether they're in-house, whether they're parts tickets or service tickets. It's really easy to check your billing with that. If you don't get a copy at home, you can go right on here and pull up those billings. It's real easy to do. I'm signed up for it. I don't buy a lot, but I signed up for it. And another item is John Deere Financial multi-use account, previously known as Farm Plan. I'm a big believer in it. I have an account myself. And if you're signed up on that, you can go into your My John Deere Financial page and make payments, look at your bill, see what's there, and that combined with the customer portal, you get you know what all the tickets are. I know Farm Plan doesn't send out every ticket, and if you forget one at the store and don't take it home and you need it for the bookkeeper, you can go to the customer portal and pull it off and go into your My John Deere Financial page and find it. And if there's a mistake in there, we can correct it at the store. If something got billed to the wrong individual or got the wrong part, we can correct that when we make a ticket. So don't be afraid to use that, sign up for it. We did ask for email addresses today, and part of the reason we did is there's some information we'll send out by email about programs, specials, clinics, those kinds of things. We want your cell phone number if you allow us to have that, and I urge you to sign up for our text messages. It's real easy to do. You can do it from your phone by typing in 313131 Deere and type Deere, and then you can pick the locations, the John Deere locations that you normally use, and you'll get text messages on information that comes out about those locations. And I know it works because we just signed up Bill Lauer the other day, and he got one. So also, if you're on Facebook, our marketing department, Kelly Baker, sitting at the back of the room, sends out a lot of stuff on Facebook. We also have, if you go to our web page, you go to news and you click on blog, it gives you our weekly specials, the things that are going on, part specials and those kinds of things. I'd urge you to get on our web page and find some of that stuff. I found a really good video. It's too long to show here today about some of the new technology, and it's at the bottom of our page under Precision Ag. I'd urge you to go in, get on the web page, scroll clear down at the bottom of the page, and you will find that. Right down here, there's some pretty good information on those tags right there. And if you want to sign up for text alerts, and you don't want to do it on your cell phone, go to our web page, place right here, click on that, fill out the information, and you'll get those text messages. This is what I have next is a short video on customers' perspective, and I've asked the people in our dealership, I sent it to everybody in our dealership and asked them to watch it, because we want our customers not necessarily to always ask some of these questions. We want them to feel confident when they come in the store that we can help them, and if we can't, we want them to feel open and free to tell us what we need to do to help them. It's just a short video. It's really meant for John Deere individual stores, but I thought it had a little power, so I put it in this. I know most of that may not directly relate to the size of farm and the equipment we have out here, but some of those questions are the kinds of things we're trying to make our people more aware of. So you, the customer, feel more comfortable coming into our location. And I thought I'd share that with you because we've shared that at the location and striving to make that easier for you to come do business with us. I would remind you that this month we have part specials on planter parts, filters, and oil. Some of the oils on sale also. We also still have our winter service inspection. Ron, do you want to speak about that just a minute before we go farther?
Well, like JR said, we are still offering our winter service promotions at what they call WSI. And for row crop tractors, $385, for combines, $595. And what we do is totally inspect the units, get back with you to see if there's anything that need to be repaired, or if you choose to leave it alone, you know, that's your choice. But it is still offered till the end of this month. So if you haven't signed anything up and still need to have it up, let's get it signed up, and then it's taken care of in this month. We can do it March, April timeframe, whatever.
With that, I don't have any more jokes up on the screen. Sorry. I guess I didn't look hard enough, but I like to put a few of those in these presentations. I'm going to turn this over to Rustin, and he's going to fill your head full of so much information. You're going to want to do a lot of business with us.
You're probably going to say, I'm tired of listening to this guy. Actually, that last presentation, I think it was like at the 2:45 mark. There was one in there that always pops up into my head. And I think it was, please, I hope they don't ask me technical problems. But for some reason, let's try this again. So while I guess I'm talking about this stuff, if you guys want, please answer or ask questions during it. I know I'm probably going to go through quite a bit of stuff here. Is it coming up? There it goes. Quite a few things here. Some stuff you guys have probably already heard before from me. Some of this stuff is going to be new. Some of it probably won't make a whole lot of sense without asking that question. So basically, we got a small enough group here. I think that we should be able to communicate and kind of piece this deal together where everybody understands. As an overview, I'm wanting to visit with you guys about the ITC cancellations, the new Gen 4 displays, the 4600s and the 4640. Reiterate, myjohndeere.com. How many guys are actually logged in or got a validated account with My John Deere? Just a few of you. So we kind of need to get together and visit about that. Talk about the benefits of JD Link, Ag DNA as well, and then kind of go over our RTK agreements and our Precision Ag Support agreements as well that we have this year. So I think, like I said, I've been pushing this pretty hard for quite some time, but it's starting to become reality right now. On June 1st of this year, Deere is going to stop supporting the ITC receiver. Also, they're going to cancel the ability to be able to move activations from the ITC to a 3000 or a 6000 receiver. So, by stating that, or to give you an overview of what you actually have on that ITC receiver, say it is a SF2 or an RTK system, you're probably sitting anywhere between $4,000 to $7,500 worth of activations on that receiver. We know the hardware isn't that much, but for example, I guess what we don't want to see is you guys go past that deadline date and we have a storm roll through and we get hit by hail or we get hit by lightning and that receiver goes bad. Well, those activations won't be be able to be pulled off of that ITC receiver and salvaged. So if we ended up moving those activations to a 3,000 or a 6,000 receiver, then we'll be able to salvage those activations and move them to a new receiver, either through warranty or the purchase of a new one. I guess, do you guys have any questions? Like I said, I think I've hit most of you guys up on this, and most of you guys don't have an ITC. Well, one thing to note though, the ITC will continue to work after the June 1st, 2018 date. Even if we didn't move the RTK activation off there, it will still continue to work. It's just the failure. If there was a failure, that's what we'd lose. So, yeah.
What are they giving up in cost on their activations if they go past June 1st and don't move their activation?
Yeah, the SF2 ready activation is 4,000 list. The RTK activation is 3,500. To give you that up, is that what you're asking? Yeah.
So they're $7,500 if you want to keep that stuff and move it.
Right.
You get that cost. If you don't do that, what do you do if you have to buy a new receiver?
If you got to buy another receiver, you're looking at a 3,000 or a 6. Right now we have used 3,000s, 2,600. The new 6,000s are 3,900. Then you got to turn around and purchase the $4,000 activation and the 3,500 to get it back up to RTK, or to get it to SF2 or SF3, I guess, for the 6,000. You're looking at for it, plus the subscription on there.
Does that cover SF1 too?
So SF1 it's part of the receiver already. So there's no cost associated to have an SF1 ITC 3,000 or 6,000 receiver. So really, if right now we're not giving a whole lot for an ITC receiver, what we're suggesting guys to do is go ahead and make that upgrade and then hold on to that ITC receiver as an SF1 for a backup. It's still going to be good for doing tillage work. Anything that's not going to be high accuracy, like strip tilling and planting and so forth. Another prime example would be like spraying capabilities. The receiver would do great. Combine work too would be another option for it. Anything else off of that side? Pretty straightforward. Probably the thing that everybody wants to talk about though, and we've been seeing them since 2014, is the new Gen 4 display. This one right here, they label as the armrest or the 4600, and the one at the very top is a extended monitor, but the 4640 display looks similar to it. Functionality is the same between those three units. Yeah, the extended monitor itself is a touch screen, but it doesn't have the brains behind it. It's all working off of the armrest display here. Stating that display is kind of just a computer monitor aspect of it. There's another piece on the tractor, they call it like it's a server. So that server is what's sending that information back to that display or to the extended monitor on there. One thing to know on the monitor, you're able to do all these applications over here on the far right hand side. The auto track, the documentation, the section control, row sense, infield data that we just saw a little bit earlier, auto track turn automation, which is similar to what iTech Trail was previously, and then auto track implement guidance, which was iGuide and iSteer. You can purchase just the auto track activation. Then they kind of piece this out in three different packages on the 4600. Remember, the 4600 is different from the 4640 when we're talking about activations, okay? So, but the three packages, the first one is the auto track activation package, which is strictly just that, the auto track. You have a premium activation 3.0, which is these guys right here, and then you have the automation activation, which gives you the advanced settings and so forth within it. One thing to note too is it is a one-time purchase. So if you purchase the advanced package or the premium package on that those activations will work on that tractor or within that tractor for the life of the tractor. So if you trade that tractor in, those activations go with that tractor. But from a sales standpoint, you should be able to roll. I don't know how the sales is going to handle that deal or not, but if you look at it, it could be a straight across trade. You know, the next tractor you upgrade, if it doesn't have the activations, then be moved over into that. But
Those activations have value.
they do have value.
They'll have
They will
premium
absolutely
value.
have value. So
So does the premium or your advanced, does either one of those, does that include all your different tracking options?
it does. So now the cool thing about Auto Track activation by itself, it does carry the Pivot Pro activation with it. So if you do buy Auto Track, you don't have to purchase the Pivot Pro like we've had with the GS2 and GS3 upgrades or displays.
Can you get the auto track turn automation on 2630?
The Auto Track activation? Yeah, which most guys have right now. Now,
The turn.
oh, the turn? Yeah, that's the iTech Pro.
You can get it on a 2630?
You can. Yeah, in fact, they came out with it on the 2600 as
What's
well.
that cost?
You date me. The list price, I believe, is $3,000 on those, but there's a few of them floating around that we could do a lot cheaper than that. So
And Bill needs it. I'm
Yeah.
talking turn around.
I think I have one on the used list right now for $1,000.
How much does that take to set it up in the monitor?
So what it's going to do is it's going to tie to the implement that you have tied to it. I had a guy that did an air seeder. It took him probably about 3 hours to do. But the nice thing is once he had it completed, and also the air seeder isn't supported, so the functionality actually worked. It just took him a little bit longer to actually set up. If you're going to set it up on a planner or something like that, you're probably looking at maybe 45 minutes to an hour. But once it's set there, then it's going to be saved within the implement aspect of it. And so when you go hook up to it the next year, that functionality is already there. And there won't be any setup time.
You're saying the turn automation stays on
The activation stays on the display, but it'll be tied to the actual implement.
tied to the actual.
Yeah. Now, stating that, we'll go to the 4640 display. The 4640 is a display similar to what we have as the 2630 or 2600 display. It can be moved from one cab to the other cab and be utilized that way. Now, the problem with the 4640 display is it's only going to work on your 30 series tractors and the R series vehicles on there. Combine wise, you're going to have an S7 series or the new 18 model sprayers, the R series on there, which those two, the combine and the sprayers are already going to have that 4600 display in there. So basically the 4640 is irrelevant for them. One thing to note between them is they still have 3 different types of activation setups: the auto track only, the precision ag core, and then of course the advanced options as well. But here's the kicker. The kicker is they're based off of a subscription on either an annual or a 5-year subscription based activation. So where the 4600, it was tied to the tractor for the life of the vehicle, the activations could expire or need to be renewed after a specific time frame. The nice thing about that is you can spread out the dollars associated per year, or you can do it in a long lump sum, so you're not carrying those 5 years, 10 years down the road. So it is a little cheaper cost than what we have been purchasing with the activations going into the GS2 and the GS3. One thing I did put this up here on the board. specifically for guys that were looking at buying new planters. If you did make a purchase of an 18 planter and you're running like a 30 or 30 series tractor, or it's an 8R vehicle that does not have the 4600 command center in there, we are kind of forced to go in there and put a 4640 in there to control that planter on it. So.
We will take orders starting in June for new planters.
I'll take new orders on 4640s right now.
John Deere offers no adaptation to your older equipment.
No.
What I would add, if anybody in the future is looking at upgrading planters to model year 18s, for the next year, we do offer a PIP and a PET program to replace the V2 processor, which kind of
That's
helps
a
you
good
guys
point.
out with a little bit of the cost there. If we would pay for it completely, and you would just have to pay for the labor of the upgrade, but it's an option to think about if you do plan on upgrading to a model year 18 planter sometime in the future. Whether it be 2 years, whether it be 3 years, that tractor is not going to run that planter without the processor. So keep that, the
Yes, sir.
PIP programs in mind for the following year to get those processors changed out.
So does so what he's basically saying is if you have a 30 series or an 8R that does not have, well, let's go take that back. So 2010 is when they started making 8Rs up to 13 models. They had just the regular GS3 command center, 7-inch screen. On the 30 series and the models from 10 to 13, we would have to run that 4640 display, right? From the models 14 up to 17, we had the 4600 display that was in those cabs, but the problem was is that display I was telling you about, the extra server that's associated there, well, that server is out to date. We have to do an upgrade on that server to run with those planters. So they call it a server 2 upgrade. If a guy ended up purchasing a Model 18 or 19 planter, the Deere's going to go in there and they're going to cover the expense of putting that new server into the tractor at no cost. So, one thing to note. Another deal too is on that server program. Does anybody have premium activation on a 4600? Okay, so on that premium activation, what year's your tractor?
15.
The 15. So on the 14 and the 15 models with that premium activation, we're able to, their Deere's willing to pitch in a little bit for that server update. I think on the 15 models, I want to say they cover half the cost of the server, and you'll cover the other half, which is your half is $425, but you also got to cover the labor to install it, which is about 3 to 4 hours on there. I think it's 3 hours MST, right, Ron?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, one thing to note too, though, if they start pushing that through parts, that price will change. And right now, as a whole good item, it's $850. If we go through parts, it's $2,400 off of there. So there's a significant jump. And then also, they're willing to do that upgrade for you until November 1st of 18. So. They got a little tricky on this stuff for you. So, any other questions on this? Probably the biggest one that I usually get is if I have a GS3, can I move my activations into either the 4640 or the 4600? Like everybody knows probably the answer to that, unfortunately. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is my John Deere. I know JR visited a little bit about it. It is actually a really good source. A lot of guys use it to actually look at the parts catalog online before they go into the store. They can determine the piece that they're actually needing. Part number wise, JDF reporting again. Probably the next biggest thing that's on there is JD Link. JD Link has been great from the service standpoint. Doing diagnostic reporting, you can go in there and you can set maintenance codes up on there, and so whenever you hit a specific interval hour mark, it'll report back to you via email and let you know that we need to do updates to that tractor. Code alerts. So say the tractor was running in the field and it threw a fault code. Well, those fault codes with JD Link is being sent to Ron and being sent to you guys. So if you have a guy that's running in the field that's inexperienced, at least you know when to call him and tell him to power that tractor down until we kind of figure out what this actual issue is or if it's a major issue or not. Another thing too is the RDA ability is remote display access. It grants me, if you're having technical issues setting up the display or getting documentation set up on your GS3 or the 4600 display, I can log in from where I'm at and be able to view your guys' display. And so I can sit there and see what numbers we need to tweak here and there to get you up and running without having to wait for us to travel out to the field and spend that hour or 30 minutes waiting for us to get there to actually make a 2-minute change within the display itself. The last piece is the JD Link Connect, the wireless data transfer end of it. That's going to tie back into the operations center here. But the nice thing about it is I'm starting to hear a lot of people talking about Apex, or I have a CF card loaded full of data, don't know what to do with it, or I hear guys saying Apex is crashing on them, they ended up losing all their data, and what can we do? How do we pull it back? Well, it's lost. If you had it within that specific point and that driver failed, you ended up losing it. Op Center is a great place to store all that information. It's secured. It's a safe place to hold it, and it's available right there for any kind of partnering group that you're tied with. So, and I'm stating that by saying, if your data is there, and your agronomist is wanting that information or that yield information off associated to it, you can add him as a partner within the Ops Center and push that data to him without you having to print out report after report after report and then taking it into town and handing it to him directly. It could be a handoff basically through the web. And the nice thing with the Ops Center too is you can limit him on what he actually looks. So you can automatically send everything on the farm to him that you're done from an application standpoint, or you can send a file manually out to whoever you're wanting to send it to. And I'm using an agronomist. I had one guy asking about insurance. An insurance agent was wanting to see it. Landlords was another one that I've been visiting with. But it is a safe haven, and it is a way to get it out to where it needs to go, or who it needs to go to.
And it is secured. So the only people that can see that are the people that you, the owner and operator, designate who can see that.
So yeah, it's you and your staff or the partners, and the partners only see what you allow them to see. And plus, it's there, So if the system crashes, it's still there. Say you're on vacation, you're down in Mexico, and you have a computer in front of you, and you want to know what's going on the farm. You pull that up, Op Center. But it's a nice thing with wireless data is that information is pouring in there, and you're able to see it. So now you can still get the information into the Op Center via using a USB stick, but the way that Deere has it set up right now with wireless data, it's a lot smoother and quicker, and it's there anytime whenever you need it. But making that point, has anybody done a whole lot with wireless data? Anybody? So I don't really need to go through the billing structure on that. And I'll give a little brief summary on that. So Deere initially, when they came out with wireless data transfer, or JD Link Connect, they were charging $600 a vehicle for per year on per vehicle to send wireless data information from the vehicle back to the office. If you had multiple machines within the JD Link account, your price was reduced due to a multi-tier system, and it was $400 a machine unless you had over 10 systems, and then it dropped down to $250 up there. Well, right now until March 15th, they're offering $200 a machine per year, and you can schedule that out up to 3 years. So you can purchase a 3-year JD Link Connect out for 3 years if you wanted to at $200 a year, which basically 3 years of Connect for the previous price of 1 year of what they had before. If you do have interest in it, several guys that I've talked to, what we've done is we went ahead and activated one system, went out there and watched the data flow in from that display, and he observed it, said he liked it, so we went ahead and added the other systems, or added it to the other systems and expanded it out to that 3-year process on there. So we could do a trial run for $200, get it up and running, see if you like it. If you really enjoy it and you think it's a benefit, then we can expand that out. But we want to do that before March 15th.
If you don't have a connected JD-Link capable vehicle, you have a hardware cost too, right?
There is, yeah. So you have to have a JD-Link gateway, telematic gateway that's installed in that vehicle. And it could be field installed off of there. Some of the diagnostic reporting coming back, you won't be able to see, but you will be able to see hours on the machine. Primarily hours on the machine when it's on, when it's off. Location's a big one.
Let me jump in on JD Link a little bit. There's one of you, the people that's got the JD Link that's active that comes to my desk on an email. If it's a yellow alert, I'll see a pattern. If it trips several times, then I know maybe there's something happening to that tractor. If it only trips once, you probably won't get a call from me. But a red alert comes up, that means that there's a critical something happening. I then go in and access that machine and see the location and actually see if that tractor is running. The red alert can be triggered by just starting the tractor real quick, moving a little bit and shutting it off because it didn't have time to go ahead and do a calibration on transmission. If that's the case, I can see that that engine has not just run for just a couple of minutes. I probably won't call you. But if it's still running, you're probably going to get a call. That in itself will keep you from having a large expense if we have to come out and do something like a boot block on the DEF system, the IT4. If it goes into an exhaust cleaning mode that it shuts you down, that's not warrantable. And at the minimum, it's going to be a 2-hour charge plus mileage. We have to come out there and we go on there and have to do a service regen through a computer. Sometimes we can alert to where we can call you and say, hey, you need to do a park regen, just let it do its thing. There's no charge on that. Okay? And we also, if you are on the newer ones on the JD Link, sometimes if it's running, we actually get on there and do a remote access and kind of look if there's anything in behind the scenes, if there's any other codes being popped, that you guys will never even notice we do that.
Is there any way we can do that through the RDA? We have someone running it?
You can see what they're doing.
But we won't get codes or?
You'll get codes.
Yes. So if you're tied to JD Link is tied to your account. And an operations
as long as the
center,
account's active.
Yeah, as long as it's active. It's got to be an active state. In the Ops Center or in the JD Link tab, that information will show on that vehicle. And depending on how you have it set up in your terminal setup, you can receive those alerts. You will receive those alerts. So I mean, you can go in there and identify when that tractor was turned on. I mean, down to when it moves or where it's located at.
You can see the exact location.
Yeah.
We don't have a large problem with a lot of routinely theft out in this part of the country, but that helps locate, tells you when it started, if it moved, for law enforcement.
We had one up in Garden City. The tractor didn't get stolen, but the weights and the battery did off of those tractors. And it actually sent in a message noting, or we were able to determine when that tractor was still sending information in and when it actually stopped.
Yes.
And so we had a timestamp when those guys were out there stealing that equipment off of that tractor. But like Ron was saying, the biggest deal with JD Link for the service side of it primarily is the ability to shut that tractor down and get it fixed before something bigger happens. Save a lot of money in the long run. A lot of money. So.
You said they got a special one now, $200 a tracker.
For the wireless data transfer, yes. So
That's not the JD Link.
that's not the JD Link. JD Link right now, there's a couple of options. I gotta remember on it, but they at one time, and I believe it's still going on right now. You can go in there and do a 5-year. Is that still going on? The 5-year. So the 5-year, you can go in there and do the 5-year with RDA and access limited information where it comes in. So you should have had a phone call. If you had a JD Link system that was either a 3G or 4G and it was inactive, we should have got a hold of you and went ahead and asked for your permission to activate that at no cost to you. Now, if it's an older tractor that had a 2G model in there, with our cellular communication companies out there, they're actually dropped the 2G network and strictly went to 3G. Well, there was an upgrade going from a 2G to a 4G and replacing that module and then activating you at no cost at that point. So.
You remember what that cost was? 800?
How much?
Was it 800?
That sounds right. Is that right, Braxton? Yeah, I think it was like 800, and then I think we were probably an hour and a half, 2 hours for the install. And it's not putting the module in there that takes 2 hours. It's everything else on the backside, getting it switched over, taking the old one off, and tying it to the same tractor with the newer module. So.
Yeah, I looked that up and it'll be 600.
600?
600
Okay.
on that, and then, yeah, just paying on 2 hours, solid 2 hours on the labor side.
Now, if you have a tractor that's a 10, 20, 30 series, something that's not green, we could still go in there and put JD Link in there. So you're looking at probably $1,800, but at least we'll still be able to get hours and location of that vehicle and whatnot. So, which would be good for wireless data transfer at that point, too. So. Any other questions on JD Link? Op Center by John Deere.
Is that wireless transfer still a USB stick that you stick in the side?
We still have those available. Yeah, the mobile data transfer cards. Mm-hmm.
Still have to have one?
No.
Okay.
No, not if you have wireless. JD Link Connect.
Okay.
You don't need to have that. No. So also the nice thing too is you can trigger it automatically when a field is completed. So whenever you close that field, it'll automatically send, or you can manually hold on to it and then push it out whenever you want. Another nice deal too is if you're building your own prescriptions out there in the field. Say you had a last minute change that you wanted to do on there. Well, the guy's heading to the field and you wanted to change that up. Well, you can push that from the op center or from AgDNA and then it'll automatically go to that tractor probably before you got to the field. I don't know how many of you guys have to go out and set up the tractor before for the operator. You have to configure it and set up your documentation and all that good stuff before they crawl in there to go. I bet there's a few of you. I know Bill doesn't like to hear that because he's the guy climbing into it after it's set up. So all that stuff can be set up through either AgDNA or through the Ops Center as well, and pushed out before he gets to the field. So.
I know Nick probably has to do that. I saw his hired hand today.
So, AgDNA. So, most of you guys have heard me talk about AgDNA. AgDNA primarily is an agronomic solution manager, is what I call it. It's a data management program, primarily similar to what you've seen with Apex and what Ops Center somewhat does, I guess. Ops Center will bring in information and hold it in a location for you. You can still use it for field analyzing and whatnot. There are some issues there that we have with bringing in setup information and so forth, but the information is there. Everything that is being pushed from the displays or from the tractor is going into the Ops Center. As an option to resolve that and for a guy to be able to determine what his inventory and expense is his input cost and his output coming out of a specific field itself and what he has as a whole for the inventory on the farm. AgDNA has been the best option or the best feature available to us. Right now, AgDNA is a partner or could be a partner to your Ops Center. So your Ops Center will receive all the data and then it'll turn around and push it to your AgDNA in a smooth transition. From AgDNA, you can go in there and you could put your invoices or inventory directly into the account of what you've made that purchase for. You go out to the field and you work. That field, you close that field. The wireless data transfer sends it to the Ops Center and back into AgDNA. And then from there, it's going to take from your inventory list over here what you already purchased, say for seed, for example, and it applies it specifically to this field. And by doing that, it ties you to knowing the exact amount that you have in that, every dollar, every penny actually back into that actual field. Across the farm. Across the farm. You can go in there and you can set up plans as well, so you can put a prediction in there on how much the chemical is, the seed cost, maintenance per machine. Good example. Another example would be like a silo that had a grain auger that blew over, got bent. You had to put dollars back to that silo. Well, you could put your expense directly to it. So you can show independent improvements that are throughout the farm and dollars that had to go into it as well. And you could expense that out to it. So you have an idea on where every single dollar of what you spend for that year and how it's being distributed out to that farm. And AgDNA does that. AgDNA will build prescriptions for you. If you have a guy that's out there spraying and he manually builds up his tank mix and then you bring that into AgDNA will actually help merge into the correct EPA settings versus what the legal tab is, versus what you manually entered into it to tie everything together in that aspect of it.
Can you go direct from your display to AgDNA?
You can.
USB?
Yes. But the main reason we're wanting to go to the operations center is because of the partner aspect of it.
Will it pull the setup out of wirelessly to the AgDNA?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we had a guy just last week. He actually pulled 4 gig worth of John Deere backup from Apex and FarmWorks and moved it into into Ag DNA, and then we shifted it into the Ops Center for holding. So none of that data was lost. 4 gig. So, a lot of data. Like I said, if you have any questions about Ag DNA, it's a really cool tool. In fact, if a guy was interested in seeing it, I'd be more than happy to set up a demo account for you and then help you move stuff in so you can play with it and see how it functions. It doesn't cost anything, and it's pretty easy to use. I've the same guy actually got on there. I called him up 2 weeks after I demoed it to him or set it up for him, and I was like, dude, are you playing with this? Or are you busy in the field? He said, no, I've been playing with it every day. He said the functionality of it was easy enough. I don't have any questions. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So that right there in itself, the layout, is a big deal. If it's laid out that easy for a guy to pick up and not call for one question, then I'm not saying it's flawless by any means, but it is a very simple tool to use.
Must have been a young man,
No, he may be 5 years younger than you.
huh? Oh.
So. Oops. All right, time to get to the goodies. RTK agreements. I think a lot of guys we've talked to about them trying to get RTK subscriptions in. Wanted to make a few notes of what we've done to the network. We've spent quite a bit of time and a little bit of money on trying to improve them. We did go through the majority of our bases and put in new harnessing. We put power inverters in there. So if we do have a power surge or a shock to it, this inverter will hold a constant power voltage for 8 seconds, either on the high end or the low end. We also enclosed all the harnessing so we don't have wires crossing and shorting out the system. I did this up in Garden City probably 4 years ago, and I'm on probably 80% of it, and I haven't been back to that base yet to do repairs and maintenance on it. Now, one other thing that was really nice about it is I ended up including a base station manager, similar to what JD Link is, same terminal, but we tied it to the base station itself. And I can go online and look at the base and make sure that it's actually operating. For one, we could send, and then if it is down or if we have some sort of power issues, then that information will be sent back through an email to me and let me know that that base is down. The cool thing about it is if you guys have text, or if you tied up with American Implement on a text standpoint, we can have Kelly send out a text to all the base owners in that location to nullify what's going on with that base station. So I don't know how many of you guys received that text message last Friday. A few of you? Yeah, luckily that deal wasn't down as long as we thought it would. I mean, it was a pretty quick deal, but I thought it was pretty slick. I didn't get any phone calls because it was down, so which I appreciate. But we're going to go ahead and finalize Hanson Mueller with Providence Elevator, hopefully this week or first of the next, and we're going to be doing ADM. The 4D Farms one, I got a harness coming in, and once I get that in, and it'll be locked down as well. So any user that does not have their serial number in that profile, and again, I kind of reiterated that it was very important that I had the serial numbers from the farm on the RTK agreements that I sent out. Those serial numbers that were on that list is what's going to go into the bases. So if those serial numbers were incorrect, then you're probably going to have issues being authorized to run on that base, if that serial number is off by a point or not. So we'll resolve it pretty quickly, but everything right now can be done through a computer, more or less. So hopefully everybody sees value in that for sure. Everybody hates to be down, but. And the last thing I want to talk about is the precision ag agreements. I know most of you guys haven't seen them mailed out this year, and I've kind of had my hands tied on mailing it out. But previously in the past, we had 3 options, and the majority of all locations have that except for the Garden City and Sublette store. We had a basic, which was the phone support. We had a standard package and a premium package where either we'd do biannual updates on one system or multiple systems, depending on the package that you selected. This year, we came out with a one-time upgrade option, and we're trying to hit this between March and April to get the systems updated. But what we're expecting to do is send an AMS support guy out there to do the software updates on the displays, the receivers, rate controllers, anything of that nature, and then sending a service technician out as well to do all the updates on the modules or controllers on tractors, sprayers, combines, air carts, planters, the whole shebang. Anything that's green that's got a controller on it, we're expecting to do updates too.
Which all your units that you bring into the shop on our winter service special, all your controllers are getting updated at the shop through that program we're doing. Be alerted that if you go out, the tractor's completely updated and your planner is not, and you go out and hook up and don't have them be able to update your planner, you're gonna have a problem. You could have a communication problem between that tractor and planner.
So it's critical if we do get you signed up that we have access to all the equipment. We want to make sure everything is in one location, everything is accessible to hook up. One thing I guess to note is, say you're done strip tilling and you got a rate controller back in the back of the shop, and there's no way I'm going to get you to pull that, or we're going to get you to pull that out. On the AMS end of it, we're going to put a USB stick in each one of those tractors. That way, when that time comes, you'll be able to upgrade that rate controller when it's connected, if need be. But we definitely, excuse me, we definitely need to know when all the vehicles are there at that location so we can set up a specific time to go out there and do all those updates all at one time on the farm. The nice thing about this program is say we come out and we get you all updated in April. We get into planting and you find out that the section control on the planter is not working correctly. Well, from Deere stands, they're saying all the software that we released in April or March should work with the AMS equipment, right? Well, why should you guys have to pay to come out and get a PIP software redone or worked on again? The nice thing about it is we're turning around and billing John Deere for that service call on that. So in reality, they're kind of giving you an umbrella over all the software that's on the farm that's Deere related. Now we can't fix hardware, of course, you know, but it is a step to the right direction, and it is able and our guys, instead of doing software updates across the farm or across the country, and you guys have a hardware issue, well, hopefully we're thinking about if we do these software updates initially, then all they're doing is hardware work, and they're going to be able to get to you guys a little bit quicker on the hardware end of it to get it fixed, or from the software side of it, waiting 2 to 3 hours to get a guy out there to do a software update, or wait until the next day.
Are we getting billed with that update while that tractor's in the shop?
Naturally.
Or we just won't wait till it's hooked up to
No.
the planter?
No, that's part of the WSI. We're taking care of that, all your software updates on the tractor in here.
Well, one's gonna have to come out and do it with the planter hooked up in it.
We'll hook a tractor up.
They
We will
will.
have to hook a tractor up to the planter, through the CAN ISO to push it through. What's,
Will you upgrade the tractor again then, or?
No.
we'll check, make sure everything is. Still doing the phone support. The one on-site visit. One on-site visit is diagnostic, strictly dealing with the AMS end of it. If the EH valve goes bad or a controller goes bad or something like that, then yeah, that's still going to be billable through that aspect of it. But But if we got configuration or optimizing a piece of equipment, then us AMS guys will take care of you there. So. Do you guys have any questions, concerns about anything we talked about?
How come we get better service off Providence or Hans Mueller Tower than we get off our tower there on TV Road?
No.
That's just weird. I always run off that base station off Hans Mueller works a lot better.
Yeah, I had a Snyder radio. I had him climb that tower and verify the antenna. Also, all the connections coming all the way down from the top down. We replaced the polyphasers off of it and have done several swaps with the radio on there as well. I think our distance last spring was a different kind of ball game, I guess, per se. I don't know, like if you guys had problems up in Leota or in Montezuma, but it seemed like we're fighting. I guess the signal was still being sent, but the signal was a lot weaker going out from about 8 to 12 miles than what it has been previously. And I haven't seen it this fall. It seemed like the issue was somewhat resolved during the summertime. I haven't had any complaints, since the spring. There's a lot of theories back there, and there's a lot of things that aren't being said to us on what the causes, or what causes it could be. We don't have control of the satellites by any means. And of course, at the time, this is my theory, and I could be totally off the rocker or not, but that's when we were starting to have conflicts with North Korea, and we had a president swap as well. So, in all honesty, a lot of movement on those satellites could cause some of that. I had one guy, a potato farm, Premium Source, was out there in that neighborhood, and we were fighting an issue on a Saturday, and we finally kind of got the issue resolved. But during that time frame, he was playing with his radio and found out that there's 3 radio stations that weren't working either. So, call me crazy. Poor excuse, I know, but I'm running with it.
At least it's working. It just that one's the coast, but it's not working as good as Hans Mueller is.
I guess. Eloy, you want to say anything?
If you guys want to see anything with the irrigation side, irrigation pivots, we got some pivot controls, flow meters, and moisture proof. If you got any questions, come visit us. We'll show you what we got, technology. You see it on the John Deere side, now you can have it on your irrigation pivot. So if you got any questions, come visit us. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Before we close out, we've been fortunate to have Rustin down here to help take care of our precision ag business with our customers. Rustin is moving up in the company here very soon. He hasn't really said when exactly, but I'm going to guess tomorrow might be the day. I don't know. But we feel fortunate to have had him here and wish him luck in where he's headed. He's staying within the company. We also feel privileged that we have people in our organization that stand up to help us. And if you haven't met Ryan Asbridge yet, I'm going to tell you to shake his hand, get his card, get his phone number. Ryan is a precision ag specialist that has been at the Montezuma store. And he's agreed to come over and assist with our location, which is a good fit I think is a good fit because of the location of both stores. So if you haven't met Ryan, shake his hand, say hi, get a business card. If he runs out of cards, we'll get you the information. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I won't bug you guys just a whole lot. JR said, yeah, my name's Ryan Asbridge. I'm based out of the Montezuma location. I've been involved agriculture and farming for a vast majority of my life. The last 10 years, I mean, as far as setup on anything goes, sprayers, planters, combines, tractors, yield monitors, receivers, displays, etc., I enjoy working with agriculture. We plan to kind of be me here one day a week, and I'm going to try to make that Wednesday. Every Wednesday, regardless, I will be here. But I don't want to limit myself or limit our customers on service. So if it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it don't matter what day it is. Don't be scared to pick up the phone and call. I'll try to make my best effort to either help you over the phone, which Rustin's a guru over the phone. Some days I'm not as good over the phone as he can be, but hopefully we get there with more of the future. But just don't be afraid to call, no matter what time. Well, 8 o'clock, you might get the ignore button come 8 o'clock on Friday night. But so be patient, because I am taking on a huge customer basis, as well as Montezuma's location, which I'm excited to come over here. It's excited to meet some of you guys, shake some hands. So I'll have some cards on the back table there. So I appreciate you guys coming out today.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Well, I guess that kind of concludes what we had planned for today. If you don't have any more questions, I'd say if you come up with a question, don't be afraid to call us. Like I said earlier, we may not know the answer, but most of the time we can find a place to get the answer. If we can't, we'll go above that. So thank you guys for coming. I appreciate your time today.